Hi, how's everybody? Sorry about my hand there, moving things out of my face. Oh, let me put the comments section on,
Oh,
see if we have anyone here with us. Well, welcome everyone. Tonight is Diana Bowles is with us, my beautiful friend, and we are going to talk about the fall equinox. The unfolding continues, huh? Yeah.
boy, doesn't it?
Oh my goodness. Hi,
And
Perrette.
hi,
Sorry,
Pierrette.
Perrette's here. Hi, Perrette.
I
Go
actually
ahead.
did tablecloths out now for autumn and
Oh yeah,
Halloween. And
nice.
I went, wait a minute. I laundered these things before I put them away. How come they smell so musty?
Mm,
So I have to wash them again.
yeah, you know how it
They,
is. It's
they
just
that
there
doesn't
seems to
normally.
be. Oh, it doesn't. See, then that just kind of reminds me of what's actually going on, and that's actually a good metaphor. Don't you feel like we're going through the wash machine again and again? I mean, it's just how much more is there to release? How much more is there to clean?
Yeah, it's like always the stinky shit's coming back, and we got to wash it up again. Like
Oh boy.
like Gloria losing her mind because she's protesting that it's stay home Saturday because it's too crazy out there. And I don't, there's too many people at the lake, even if they're not on the beach themselves, right? It's still
Uh-huh.
picnic time. And it's open season on goose and waterfowl of all kinds. And they're just careless hunters. They're blowing off rifles in uh, safe zones. Safe zones
That,
are where
oh, that's not cool.
people walk. They're not
Yeah.
supposed to be anywhere near the trails,
Yeah, I
and
wouldn't be out there either.
they don't care.
That's, that's scary. That's
It
really
is scary.
oh, okay. So that brings in another point. This is still okay. Still, 5 planets retrograde. Quite a few asteroids are retrograde,
Yeah,
and people haven't got. We haven't received all the information. First of all, and if you can see, well, we see by the news and things like that, that the world is unstable as usual. So, yeah, if I knew it was hunting season and they were just out there shooting, I wouldn't go either. It's
well,
not worth
especially on Saturdays. But I mean, it's a rifles are not. They're outlawed in the state parks. You can't use them in state parks. Buckshots,
it.
what they're using. They're not using
Still,
a well, still is right. And
mm,
bow coming up,
and what's coming up?
bow and arrow season for
Oh
deer
yeah,
hunt.
yeah.
So,
That's
you have to just rule of thumb is dress in bright colors.
dress in bright colors.
The-
So,
yeah,
and and that's an excellent point too. Dress in bright colors and stay aware of your surroundings while,
exactly.
while this is going on.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So
It's
the reason why the hunters like you to wear orange is because the deer cannot discern that color. And so you just look like nothing walking through the woods but another deer with that color on them.
huh. Well,
It's
that's
not
an
that you're any more, you can wear magenta and be just as brilliant as day glow orange or day glow yellow. But the orange, the deer can't see.
isn't that interesting how they figured that out. Well, let's say hi to everybody. We have
Okay.
Jay, we have Perrette. Hi,
Hey.
Teresa Levine. Akela's here. Hi, Akela.
Whoop,
Hi, Warrior Girl.
whoop,
Oh, we're dancing now.
whoops.
And it excited the dogs. Oh my goodness. So we're at another portal. Fall Equinox. And if we can see how the spring equinox to now has brought in a lot of information to us, a lot of the unfolding is going on. And it's probably going to happen until we're no longer in the body. Hi, Ron. Ah, Ron's here. Hi, Cat Mama.
Hey, cat mama.
But this fall and winter season, because all the Pluto and Uranus will come out of retrograde at the end of January, then we will have a better view on how we're going forward. I'm sure we're all working on certain aspects of our life, but it is still the same thing. Release what does not serve you. Release it, because this is a Libra season, right? 0 degree. It is first and foremost, our most important relationship is with ourselves. What do you think about that? And then we branch out.
Well, absolutely. And for me, I'm ecstatic because I have a Libra rising. Mm-hmm. This Virgo was very hard on me. Mm-hmm. My Pluto is in, I'm sorry, my Saturn is in Virgo. So I was very hard on myself throughout the Virgo season. Yeah. However, what was going on was the analytical angle of that release that the Virgo season is really about.
Right.
Because she's the nurturer and she's, the first or the second harvest and all of that other. And so yesterday having been Mabon and the beginning of the equinox, day 1, today is day 2, and tomorrow is day 3. And so this is the celebration time of that recentering, rebalancing, getting over the critical degrees of where the signs are changing. Right. That 29, 0, and 1 degree.
Yeah. And 29 Virgo is hard. 29 Virgo is hard for me. Yesterday, last day and a half, it just felt, like, okay, what am I doing? Am I doing it? And I feel like I'm on the right path, but you know how we always come into that, am I worthy thing? Am I imposter syndrome? Who am I?
Well,
it comes up and hits hard in Virgo.
Yeah. That analytical volume of Virgo.
Exactly.
Virgo is, I analyze. She is the higher form of Mercury, because Mercury is also in Gemini, right? And or rules Gemini. And so here I am, Gemini sun, and letting my Virgo, my Saturn in Virgo, take over and rule me. And there were days where the energy just couldn't fit what I needed to do because I was in such a big time of shadow work. And I'm wondering how many of you out there in our chatters, how many of you actually did find yourself dealing with your own shadow work and find yourself doing more hermitage, taking solace inside of yourself, going deep inside, looking for that your inner goddess, inner God, your inner rulership, and weighing it to see if you were in a positive frame of mind while exercising that rulership you have.
Right.
Whether it was for yourself or judging someone else.
Yeah.
Right?
Virgo's the most critical sign. And Virgo's, represents the goddess. Excellent healers. They can line things up to perfectly how they need to be. So when we are going through Virgo sun season, it's how we scrutinize ourselves. And are you doing this in a loving manner, or are you being a little too critical to where it's stifling you instead of healing you? But I think a lot of us here, hi, hi, Kelly. Dozen Cats is here.
Hey, Kelly.
And Ron's here. But that it's something that we all have to work through, because we all have those feelings of I'm just not good enough, or I don't know what I'm doing. And once you work through it with Virgo, it really does clear a significant amount. I don't know if we ever get cleared fully, but it does help. Jay says, yes, shadow work has definitely been difficult, even in my dream states. Yeah, see, and that's part of this, right? But the thing is, we go through it, and here we come right up to Libra, right? But 29 and 0 degrees are very hard, and was 29-degree Virgo yesterday. We're in zero today in Libra, but after this, it's gonna feel a lot lighter. You're gonna integrate what you have gone through with yourself. If you have. So Jay's gone through shadow work. Has anyone else? Let's see if we got anything else. Because it is Libra season. So how do we cultivate a relationship with ourselves? How do we go forward? We have a lot more information. We're still receiving information. And this is like next week we have the full moon. That's nothing attached to it, but next month, October, is all the eclipses.
2 eclipses. So this will be, when we get to October, there's going to be, because it's eclipse season, big releases.
Yes.
All of this work that we've been doing as individuals are taking us into a season where even though we're entering a time of hibernation, especially if you're in Michigan, it's still a time of celebration because we go through some holidays, starting with Samhain, actually starting with yesterday with Mabon.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I was doing a candle ritual. Tomorrow is my closing day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just amazing to me how things can find their own way into alignment. And y'all know that I draw my dreams a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I burn my candle in a cauldron, and I write a wish on a paper, and then I do a skinny taper beeswax candle, and I roll it in herbs, and then I watch it burn down. And then as the pile begins to formulate itself in the bottom of the cauldron on the piece of paper, I begin sketching what I see each day.
Mm.
And so the combination of things that were yesterday and the two things that were evident today, I can't wait to see what it is tomorrow. And what it became yesterday, it was a figure sitting on the ground with one leg extended. I should have brought the book down, holding an egg.
Wow.
Okay. Today, yes, you can still see that the figure could be sitting down. However, no, it's the figure is actually in movement, because my eye kept looking at her, and she's got shakers, rod shakers, music, right?
Yeah.
And she's got a sombrero on, a straw sombrero is what it resembles, and her hair is in movement, and
Wow.
she's like doing this. And then the next one, I mean, it's like her face just changes and she's dancing forward. And Yet, of course, there is no actual movement in it. Now we have burnt paper and ash and wax built up from the candles and drippings from the herbs, etc. And so there's no actual movement there, but in the visual of the figures that were formed, there's movement. And I'll be darned if I didn't notice a shift when I opened my eyes this morning before I even went into the moon launch to do this. And it was
That's a good question.
A sense of balance that had been escaping me for the past month. And then, just to make matters better, the mosquitoes from hell are gone. They just disappeared.
Well, everything should have disappeared with all these solar flares we've been getting hit with. My goodness.
That.
Yeah. And that was a good point too, Diana. Did you wake up today, any of you wake up today and feel lighter or balanced a little bit more? Kelly said releasing, letting go has been coming up so often in her readings.
Yes.
Ron is doing the boogie woogie while he's asleep.
Yes, and I talked a little while ago. Absolutely so.
Oh, that's so cool. And Warrior Girl says she's been clearing shadow work for her whole life. Most people in the change. Yeah. Well, that's good. Warrior Girl's lighter. She feels lighter. Go ahead. Sorry.
And what has everybody been able to make some forward movement on?
Right.
Just change in day. Like today, it was easy to be outside because the mosquitoes were gone.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter if it was windy or beating down hot sun for these past 2 weeks. They have been dive bombing everybody around here.
It's crazy.
And for that to be gone, I went outside and I was able to work on some more of the autumn decorations out there and, harvest a couple of things. There were big enough dandelion heads out there that I could pop enough to put another batch in oil so I can make another batch of salve. So, I felt very productive this morning.
Yeah.
And then
I felt productive.
I'm working on an oil painting, and I went in to go and finish it up. And I sat down and looked at it, and I started doing a couple of things, and I went, there's nothing for me to do. It's done. And I was amazed because I've been worrying about it because it's like, oh, it's too flat. It doesn't have enough color. But I walked away from it for 2 weeks. It's not like when you work with oils, you have to let layers dry, right? So it's not like I work on it every day because you can't. I can't anyways. But I would go and check on it. Did it hatch an egg on its own while I wasn't looking? And no. And today when I went in there and looked at it, I went, the only thing that I should highlight is the finishing touch on the water, because of course it's over a lake. So that was the only thing that I could touch. But what else is I noticed is I need to go back and take a refresher class on working with oils, because I've been working with watercolor for 3 books now, 3 children's illustrations, that I've kind of forgotten how to work with oils. So I've been working with acrylics and watercolor, and those are 2 of the same kind of, it's like quick, and it's dry and over with. And I'm forgetting, there's different techniques that go with oils. And I'm like, I need to go take a class. So this winter, I'm going to seek out something maybe over here at the community college.
And that's another good point, because we have that Venus in Leo still until the 12th of October, I think, or somewhere around there. But that Venus in Leo is asking us to just focus, take this time, especially with these retrogrades, focusing on your heart, on what you love and what you value. So Diana's feeling the need to go do a refresher course in oils, and that's pretty cool. I mean, we have, and I do the same thing with projects too. I'll have things written, I'll have things here and there, and once in a while, instead of making more, put more work on there, I'll say, "Oh, I think it's finished," but that doesn't happen too often with me. And it certainly doesn't happen to me in Virgo season. Yes,
Oh,
Kelly, patience. Patience is everything. This
right.
whole fall winter is going to be about being patient, being mindful, dropping into your heart, taking those pauses and those breaths, and listen to the guidance that comes in, because all of our teams are talking to us, guiding us onto our next part of the path.
So Mercury is going in to Libra on October 4th. Venus is going into Virgo on October 8th.
Ooh, that's going to be tough. Venus and Virgo.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And Mars goes into Scorpio on the 10th.
Oh,
and if you remember when we were together the last time, I kept saying that it's going to be Mars and Venus and Mercury that are the bigger players in all of it.
Yeah.
But we do have some other interesting things coming up, because Mars is going into Scorpio on the 12th, but Pluto stations to go direct on October 10th. He's still in Capricorn, but he's stationing direct. And so he's supposed to be, headed into that 29-degree area, because he's going to be at 27 degrees and 28 and 58 minutes or 56 minutes, whatever it is.
And he'll Saturn, be in 29 long, won't he? He'll be in 29 for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, good.
And Saturn goes direct on November 4th. Uranus is still retrograde. And Neptune direct on December 4th. Stations direct on December 4th. So those big guys aren't moving.
Isn't Jupiter going direct on New Year's Eve? That's going to be interesting.
Oh, yeah. I don't have this. Wait, let me see. I can open up December's booklet.
I don't know if you all remember when we did New Year. We did something on the New Year's last year, and there was no time to move. We were in retrograde with a few big planets. I know Uranus was there. I can't remember. Uranus and Mars, something like that. And we're like, it's going to feel like a new year. It's going to feel like, you're stuck in the mud. But this new year, it's going to have Jupiter.
Yeah.
In a new year with us.
In Eastern Daylight Savings Time, or Eastern, he's blah, 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 blah. Jupiter stations direct on December 30th at 9:40 p.m. So that's Eastern Day, right? So if you're in England, of course, it's New Year's Eve already. And he'll be at 5 degrees of Taurus when he does that. So he hasn't gone back that far, because he didn't get that far when he turned around and went retrograde. He was at 12 degrees, 13 degrees? Something like that. Something like that. So,
I don't know.
Just remember, all of this revisiting
will
be done simultaneously with all the big boys.
Yeah.
And girls.
Yeah. I think February, March, we're really going to feel like, okay, we have enough information. We've been working on the things that we want. Our heart desires. It's not say want. But we're going to have that. It's going to feel lighter now, except for one thing. Chiron in Aries. Chiron in Aries, is retrograde, but it's right next to Eris. And I keep looking at that every time I do readings. And I see that North Node ticking up to that Chiron. And we think that it's, the external world, the politics, the news. They're just going to keep ramping that up, because we're in a presidential I can't talk either. Presidential election next November, right? So I see that going to be like a little blip, but I think that'll be over by February because that North Node's going to move over top, and they can do what they want. The love
Of
is the planet.
2024, you mean February of 2024?
Yeah, yeah, February 2024. We should have the light of day, but that I think that North Node will be. It's going to be over the winter where they're going to try to really trigger some reactions from us. You know, that
Yeah.
stress and division and fear and hate, and just be mindful. You know, they're not going to lighten up until next year. Once Pluto goes into Aquarius, that's all going to start. We're going to feel that one because that's really going to go boom, boom. But see, right now we're in the equinox. And this equinox is for, again, for us to go inward, create that, cultivate that relationship with yourself. Really focus in on yourself and your desires and preferences. And when these things come up, you'll be you'll be solid in yourself. Nothing can throw you off if you're grounded into Mother Earth and you're constantly attending to your heart and in unconditional love, you know.
So those early days of October is when we're really going to feel not only the balance, but the action,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So through all of this shadow work, what have we been doing? We've been, even if we have been running in our dreams and being chased in our dreams,
Or
if,
dancing.
or dancing, or even if we have stopped and turned and faced whatever it is that's chasing us,
Hmm.
those things like to play the game chase. So
Yes.
if you stand and turn and face them,
Yep.
now they're going to run away wanting you to chase them. The
Yep.
thing is to walk towards them.
Hmm.
Don't make them run away. Not just face them, but take action on them.
Yes. That's
And
the best advice ever. Because I remember when I did that in my own life, because I was always terrorized in my dreams and chased, and I just thought any minute this was going to get me. But the minute I stood up to it, it
right,
dissipates.
because
It does.
what
It
are you
dissipates.
when you are when it is haunting you, what are
Mm-hmm.
you doing? If you don't turn around, take it, embrace it, hug it, kiss it,
Mm-hmm.
take care of the boo-boos that made it happen to begin with, you're
Right.
only having a hate campaign on yourself
Exactly. Yeah.
because you're the person who's got this shadow.
Yeah.
And just ask Peter Pan.
Mm-hmm.
I lost my shadow. Gotta have my shadow. Can you put it back on with soap? No, that's not how it works.
Yeah, the shadow needs love. Is really what it boils down to.
It
Your
is
our
because it's
shadows
only
need love.
right, and because it's only yourself.
Right.
And why should you hate yourself?
Right.
You don't hate anybody else.
Yeah.
And how? What's the first rule? Well, there's many first rules, but particularly love thyself
Yeah.
as thy neighbor.
Yes. Yep. And that, well, okay, let's talk about that. A lot of us didn't get that, didn't hear that from anybody. To love and honor yourself, to respect yourself, to accept yourself for who you are. None of us heard that. So here we are later in life, figuring this out, figuring out that we have to face and embrace our shadow, not run from it, and that gives love. That's standing up for yourself. That's your own superhero. Just like Jay's putting in here. Yes, that's me, Wonder Woman. Thank you. But that is
But
how
it's the
it is the truth. It is. It really is.
well,
It is so freeing.
even in the what is it? I think that the fourth commandment is honor thy mother and thy father. Is it the third? No, keep holy the Sabbath. I think it's the 5th commandment that is love thy neighbor as thyself.
Mm,
But what they don't tell you is you have to love yourself,
yeah,
or
but
you can't love your neighbor fully,
that's right.
because it's a give and take.
Yeah.
When you love yourself, others will honor and respect you the same way you honor and respect yourself, because now you're paying it forward to them
Yeah.
automatically, because you walk in that integrity, you stand in that light.
Hmm. And that's exactly what this whole ascension process has been about. Once we can come in, embrace our shadows, work through all the pain and trauma, because all of us have so much pain and trauma, and it comes in from past lifetimes too. So you feel it's in your cellular, deep wounds, you know. And here we are, and it was a shocker to me when I was asked, "Do I love myself?" I didn't not like myself, but I was like, that's okay. I don't know. But really love yourself, you know? And that seals the deal, because that makes you strong. You are
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say a bad word. You're unfuckable with, because you are in your own power, and nothing
So
is
cute. You're going to say a big word.
but it's the truth. You become so strong in your, and not in a mean way, not power over others. This is power over yourself, and loving and accepting yourself. And I'll tell you who really gets the biggest hit on that is your inner child. You,
Yes.
oh my gosh, inner
That
child lights
has
up.
already been hurt. That's why
Yeah.
she's running, because she's done things to hurt herself, because she thought that was the way all these other people hurt her to begin with, or him, you
Yep.
know.
Yep.
Oh, and if Ron, if you're still here, remember the other day when we were in practice and I said, I see this, and it was like you were in a shed. I
Mm.
almost said fire. And then when I watched Ron's show with Jay, he was an infant in his crib, had been in a fire, and that's what I had seen.
Ron had been in
Yes.
a fire. Oh my goodness. And see
That's a
that.
it's a longer story, but because he's here, I got to get that out, because
Yeah.
I that's and that's a perfect example of trust yourself
Yeah.
when you are practicing your mediumship, or
Yeah.
even when you're not. When you get these telepathic hits, psychic hits,
Mm-hmm.
downloads from the above,
Mm-hmm.
trust what you're getting.
Yes.
Go with it. Say it.
Well, doesn't that come along with a self love? Because until you fully, honestly love yourself, you can't trust yourself. You don't have faith in yourself. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we'll give that faith out to Mother, Father, God, or Source, or an angel or something. But it's really, that faith doesn't strengthen until you give yourself that trust and faith. It is so important. You're right. And we do, and we're all remembering more and more and more of our gifts and abilities. So when you
Right.
come in, you know, here we are. We're talking about this stuff all the time. Don't I used to just brush them away, you know, but now these are really important communications with your team, with your higher self that's coming in. So take them seriously.
And with this memory that we're getting, we're also beginning to realize that this is an orb within us.
Yeah,
This is an orb within us, and
yeah.
then we project it outward.
Mhm.
And that time, this is this time is not linear. We
No.
mark time on a linear route in order to get to work on time, in order to remember somebody's birthday, in order to remember how long it's been. Like, I keep track of what I'm doing by what year my kids were in school. Well, now I'm SOL because nobody's in school. They're all married. I got nobody to answer to or keep track of.
Oh my
So
goodness.
it's like, oh boy, this is what I've lived my whole life for, is to not wear a watch,
I know. Ron's got a good point. Child work is important to free ourselves. Yeah, the inner child needs love, and once, but it knows. Hi, Tina. Hi, Lori Hunsinger. Um, that inner child knows the minute that you really do come in and trust and love yourself. I mean, your whole body lightens up. Everything about your being lightens up, and and it just opens everything up for you. All the perception doors that were
Mm-hmm.
locked and shut on you start to open up, and you see the higher realms. You see, you hear information. You know information. It's just so cool. Um, but see, this is why we were all disconnected from that. There is a lot of brainwashing here on this dimension and this density, and they didn't want us connecting to ourselves because we're very powerful. Again, not power over. We're just energetically powerful. Once you believe in yourself, magic happens. You
Well,
can
and
date something and it comes true. You like
I,
go ahead.
yeah. I need to revisit the cauldron for a minute and the pictures that I had drawn,
Mm,
because Juno's short had just come out with the dragonfly and the gypsy violin, Pearl Jago,
yeah.
and it was. I had just seen these dancers doing gypsy kind of dancing in the cauldron when that music came out, and that violin was perfect for what I had just drawn. I looked at that, had listened to her short, and
Mm-hmm.
went, oh, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Was I catching the download as she was posting it?
Absolutely. I think so because
Oh, was my candle catching the download?
yeah, that's what I mean.
I mean, you can't make this up.
No, you can't. And this is how the universe speaks to us. You hear something, all of a sudden things just make sense to you. It's really hard to explain it to somebody else because it happens all day long if you're paying attention. And when I watched that short on the dragonflies, I never looked at it like that. Like the larvae or the larva that never knows anything but the water for 4 years. And then
Yeah.
it comes out, and here it's a dragonfly. But same one kind of, well, different with butterflies, but the same thing. And so we have to go through that metamorphosis, right? Now, I don't think we should have to be disconnected from ourselves purposely, but now that we're all knowing this and we're waking up to it, we're the faster we connect all these dots, the higher the vibration raises on Mother Earth. Because we're helping her raise in vibration. Well, actually, she's probably helping us. She really doesn't need us if you really think about it. But and once we get to that higher vibration, to where we're all stabilized in there, that dark, dense stuff cannot live in that higher vibration. It's impossible. Energy attracts like, and that's how they've had the energy market cornered, because all they do is put fear and hate and division and on repeat 24 hours a day. And it's just, I know so many people tell me they don't even watch the news anymore. They don't even want to hear it. They're sick of it.
Even the positive shows that I used to
I
watch,
know.
I'm having time with. Okay, you give me the first 3 sentences, or all I have to do is read your headlines.
Yeah.
Like in the old days when you read the newspaper,
Yeah.
there, you have the bold headlines because you don't have to go any farther. That sums it all up if you have any
Mm-hmm.
intellect. And if you read the first 2 paragraphs, you have the whole story.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically as far as I get with any of them anymore.
And it's true, though. We don't need it to be repeated by a different talking head for the next 5 days, whatever the tragedy of the day is.
Yeah.
That's what I call it. You know, it's
Yeah.
just constant, constant, constant. And they've got to know that something major is going on here, and this is why they're ramping it up. They Once we understand who we are, it's game over. There's no
Yeah.
more um, and I think it's like 51% of us. Once 51% of us know, they start to dissipate, disappear, and
Right.
And people know it, but they don't know, like we didn't know that we all existed. We didn't know that there's other like-minded people like ourselves until we got into these chats and we were listening to the psychics and the readers and stuff. And then here we are, and we're becoming stronger by the minute. And it's game over for this distorted, heartless, soulless world they're trying to tell us is normal. Has never been normal, none of it.
So, and we still have, back to astrology for 1 second, because we still have a kite. Now it's a bit cattywampus because Neptune's at 26 degrees of Pisces, and the Sun and Vulcan are both at 0 degrees of Libra. Mm-hmm. So we're standing in a new ray of power and strength, and we can still look at our dreams in Neptune in Pisces, and it's in the 11th house. Well, it was earlier this morning when I printed this chart out. Actually, I printed it out a couple days ago.
Well, but isn't that what Neptune's been doing? He's helping us remember our imagination, think outside the box, open up those doors that have been locked. See a higher perception.
The rectangles, there's a pile up of those with Lilith and Chiron and what else? Neptune across to Juno, over to Mars. Yeah, I mean, it's just everything. I mean, and grand trines galore.
This is working for
that forms the kite in water, and then the one that forms in earth, and then the one that forms. It's like we're basically under the Star of David right now. David's breastplate. The Merkaba and the rectangles are there. So if your dreams are crazy or you're getting lots of downloads, pay attention, because they could be predictive.
I think everything's a message now. It's just no way am I downstairs making tea and I hear something about I was just working on upstairs, clicks into place. You just can't make it up. It's constant. It's because I was looking in the refrigerator. I mean, it just happens that way now. And that, I think, has always been the way that the communication from spirit came in, but we were told we were crazy. That doesn't mean anything. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I dreamt that it was raining school buses. Ooh. Only the buses weren't yellow. And what was in the news yesterday? 45 injured, one passed away. And the school bus that flew off the road and down a cliff in Jersey, right? It's in Jersey?
Yeah.
And I dreamt about it raining school buses, and they weren't yellow. And this bus, I saw the pictures today, it was white and blue. So it wasn't necessarily a school bus. They were going to band camp. It might have been a hired bus.
Yeah, and we don't know for what reason we get that, but the veil is thin. This energy is really thin, and it just comes like Diana's known for her dreaming abilities and her ability to sketch her dreams when she wakes up and knows what they mean and puts them together. I mean, put a lot of time in it, but she's done that her whole life, so it's easy for her. And it helps her communicate and get the communication, the dialogue going between her and spirit. But we all have a specific way we get our information. If you just are paying attention, keep your antenna up. Our hair is our antenna. That's another thing. Never told about that. That's how this flows into our awareness. We're big energy columns, but this is the crown chakra. We get our information from our higher self and our teams, and it comes in to our awareness, and our heart smiles or it doesn't. And then we get chills or something, and that's when you know you're on the right you're getting something that's pertinent for you at that moment. But this can go on all day. It does.
Yeah. My hair goes cattywampus a lot. And I just figure I'm getting messages. I
I
I
love it.
don't
And then,
really let my hair get to dreadlocks, but most days I have dreadlocks because I dread combing it.
oh, God. Yeah, my hair, I really need a haircut. But new moon is for haircuts, right? And that's not
Yeah,
coming.
this is going into Virgo. Then maybe we want to do this.
Yeah, I didn't want to do it yeah, I had to wait for Venus to clear her shadow. And then the
Yeah,
next new moon is an eclipse. So I don't know if that's
right.
a good idea either.
No, I don't know either. Now that you say
Uh,
that, because in Leo she might be real flamboyant. Let's go have some fun. She's in her shadow phase and her
yeah,
morning warrior phase.
yeah,
So anything that you have to battle that is your shadow, this is a good time with Venus's support.
absolutely.
In Leo, heart
Mm,
centered on yourself, and battle gear ready to
mm,
face your shadow and give it the soothing medicine that it needs. And that
mm-hmm.
medicine is a massage for the baby, for the
Mm,
inside of you, for
right.
you,
Yeah.
for the things
Yeah.
that admit that it really hurt you. And no
Yeah.
matter how they say bucka bucko or you
Mm,
made me do it,
right.
no,
No.
I didn't make you do it. And
We all
I
have
react
that.
like this.
Yeah. And we all have that because we're empaths, right? And we feel, oh, well, I don't want to hurt their feelings. They've just shredded you on some level. I've done this so many times in my life. That's why I say what I mean now, and I speak my truth. But of course, I don't want to be rude or um, nasty to anyone. But I'm ready. But I also bartended like Diana did, so you have to be kind of tough. Not, but I've cried many times in the back of a restaurant because and then I would feel, oh my God, I'm not even tough enough to be a bartender, and just layer it on some more. But but now it's just no. No's an easy word, and when you don't feel any guilt or shame or blame over that, or you can look back on a past trauma and say what you have to say to your inner child. And it's, you look at that shadow and you give that shadow love. The worst things that have happened to you, it's not easy, but once you can do it, because we always think we gotta, oh, the dark's here, we gotta battle. It's not how it works. You just gotta love it. It melts when you send it love.
Yeah.
Don't you think? And then, and it's just so cool. But we're here. This is the partnership we're working on. This Libra season is with ourselves. Leo season had us looking at our hearts, making sure, do you love yourself? Do you accept yourself? And Venus is saying, go for what you want. Everyone else is retrograde, so Mercury's coming though. But Mercury in Virgo is, also,
On the fourth, right? Isn't that what I said?
that's, well, wait,
Yeah.
Mercury's in Virgo now. Am I crazy?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. He
It's
enters
okay.
Libra.
Okay. That'll be a little nicer because when the Sun and Mercury were both in Virgo, there's a lot of critical dialogue going on,
Yes.
you didn't do this right or you didn't say that right. But
Yeah.
it's all to bring us through to healing. Anything, all of this. And
Right. And
and
so
we
the sun will be ahead of him. The sun will have rulership over him, but he likes to move fast. So
Mercury. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he does. He's moving through. Well, and that's good because, well, no, he did go retrograde in Virgo, so it was even a little longer on the critical dialogue
Yeah,
that we really don't want to hear. But it was for a reason, and it gets us through to the other side. And here we
yeah.
are now. We have we're multi-dimensional. We have a lot of things going on, so it is just always being mindful and loving and graceful to yourself, and we can ground. Grounding helps. Keep grounding. Keep putting your hand on your heart.
The Mercury has a Kizami on the sun too this in October, doesn't he? Where's my October book?
Again, he just had one in. Didn't he do that in Leo season?
Yeah, but he was retrograde when he did it.
Oh, well, that's going to be interesting. I didn't know it happened twice
Let me
either.
see. I'm looking.
Does anyone have any questions? Anything anyone would like to talk about? Bye, Kelly. Let's see what we got. Yeah, your child fear energy is released with self-love. Absolutely, Ron. It's important, and we're becoming stronger and stronger in our energy bodies. And this is why it's so important to listen. All these retrograde planets are going to bring us in more information on how to go forward in our individual lives, on our individual journey, and be the self that you are working towards being. Because we're all just in this new energy from spring equinox. So we're just getting stronger and stronger and stronger as time goes on, and becoming the love workers, light workers, energy workers we are. And it is just really beautiful. More of us, bless you, are coming into this awareness of something's going on here. Something, my heart's opening. Do you all remember when your heart chakra started to open? Do you recall that, Diana, when yours did?
Um, well, the one in infancy or the one as an adult?
The one as an adult.
I think it's something that we do on a very regular basis. We pick ourselves up, brush ourselves off, and start all over again. But we can die 1,000 deaths in one lifetime, because every time we get disappointed, we've been crushed. Every time we feel that we're a failure or have our failures pointed out to us, it's demeaning. And again, we die again. And then we have to pick ourselves up, brush ourselves off, and start all over again. And if you don't open your heart each time you try to do that, right? Which means before you can do it, you need to do a little of that shadow work so that you can be it's a spiral, of course, but you can be in the energy of the spiral so that it's like riding the motorcycle. You use the rear view mirror because you don't look behind you. Where you want to be is where you focus. Because if you look at where you're at, you're going to fall down.
See, I love that. I love that because where you want to be is where you focus. And that's so important going into this next year and a half, 2 years. I had a weird thing happen to me when my heart chakra. I was doing a meditation. I was really sick. I was living in Arizona. And I'm laying there trying to meditate the pain away. And I'm the only one at home. And my heart, like, blasted open. Energy just blasted through there. And I was like, I thought I was having a heart attack at first. Or that's exactly what I said. I hurt so bad. I was like, not wanting to be here, kind of. And I thought my heart was hurting. I'm like, yeah, please bring a heart attack on. And I just let it happen. And that thing blew open. And I'm not kidding you, for months, this energy was pouring out of my heart. And I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. It changed my whole perspective of everything. It was just, it was so beautiful. And
Yeah, that is beautiful. That sounds wonderful.
yeah, it, I don't know. I just love spirit. I love how everything unfolded back then for me. Of course, I wish it would have happened when I was a kid. Like kids should be raised in this understanding of self love and acceptance, and how to love others, right? And just being a good person. We get that, but we get it because we get that lesson, but it's based in guilt. It's based in, like you don't want to kiss your uncle, ever have that? And that you're forced to. I don't think kids should ever be forced to do that. But anyhow, off topic. What else we have going on?
Off topic. Well, so this is a perfect time to be creative, right?
Oh, goodness, yes.
Right?
Yes.
Turn on your love light, dance,
Yeah.
sing, create, cook, sew, crochet, paint, garden. Put out your Halloween decorations, or at least start brushing them off. I did some extra lights today so that it's a slow progress. If I do a little bit every day, it doesn't feel overwhelming, And then some of what I put up is just stays until after the three wise men come. So it's a rotation of seasons, right?
I love it. I love that.
Builds.
Yeah, but I love how you do that.
Well, and then we go into Beltane and Bride's Fire, and so I celebrate all the quarter moons and
and that's a good way to stay immersed in the energy. Keep yourself, that's why we come on full moons, new moons, equinoxes, and solstices. But yeah, the quarters, because Maybon was yesterday, second harvest, right? So we have Samhain coming up as the third harvest, and that's the end of October. But we do have these eclipses, and wow, they're going to be Aries. So I am, right? We're going to be in that I am mode, but what are we releasing that's not serving us? Think of that on this next new moon.
Right, with Chiron still in Aries.
And Eris.
North node in Aries. The north node's at 25 degrees, so it's sitting on my north node in Aries. And many of us here probably have north nodes in Aries because it's a slow moving sort of a thing. But anyways, I digress.
And
Aries, so the Chiron in Aries is about getting to the deep, deep wound, the deep shadows that are following us from our childhood. North node is showing you this is the release. The south node is showing you what it is to release. The north node shows you how to go forward after that release. And Chiron can pinpoint what it is within that shadow of the north node himself, because he's at what, 15 degrees?
He's at 18.
18. Yeah, I moved that chart.
Eris, the goddess of discord, is at 24. So she's right there with him. So they're kind of bringing up all those, deep wounds that we've had since childhood and having us revisit them. So when you go in to revisit them, or if it comes up, just know it's good. You can, on the full moon coming up, always write a paper of all the things you want to release. Do it on a full moon and new moon, and especially during the eclipse. When you want to release something big, do it on the eclipse.
Where's Black Moon Lilith? I've got White Moon on here, but I didn't put Black Moon.
She is at 28 degrees. She's sitting right on my moon, Leo moon. 28 degree Leo moon. So
and we have Yeah, the
Jan-
white moon
yeah.
at 22 degrees of Aries.
Oh
I'm
goodness.
sorry. Yeah, 22 degrees of Aries.
And I think Jay, you have something at 28 degrees of Leo too. So maybe there's these nightmares and stuff. Black Moon Lilith represents our deepest fear,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, she's a warrior goddess and she holds us up. She helps us face that fear. You know, gotta stand up and face. I think Jay and Ron left. I'm sorry, I forgot it was Saturday night.
Oh,
Ron's going on at 8. Well, I just have a couple of cards I got to work on surrender, to work on our vision, contemplate that future, bring in the ideas and make that future grow, that dream and that big wish. Ground, be in nature. Remember your most important partnership, and trust your inner compass. Be led from within. That's everything Diana's been talking about.
wow.
Be led from within. I mean, y'all are just beautiful souls. And I'm so grateful that you come here and hang out with us when we come on for the moons. And Diane's going to pull something too.
I just pulled a card from the Ma Bond deck.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Seasons of the Witch deck, right?
I didn't
Coming
know
of dark.
Say
The
it
coming
again.
of darkness. All the light is dimming. Life is withering at the core. Are you ready?
Ah,
It'll happen before we know it. It'll happen.
that is really cool. Yeah, I mean, we have to go into the dark to be reborn, right?
Exactly.
Reborn, reborn, reborn. And that's, we do that all throughout our lives. And this is where it kind of trips us up sometimes. It's like, how much more pain can I go through? Or how much more do I have to go through this? But that's when you come face to face with your shadow, right?
So
Go
the
ahead.
bottom, the bottom card, because I always look.
I do too.
It's whiskey. Life
Whiskey?
should be sipped whiskey. Life should be sipped slowly with intention. Be patient as the vision reveals itself.
Oh, I like that. And that's
I
going to
like
take,
that.
till into next year, into February. Some of us have it all together. I'm not one of them. But and the last thing I got was magical map shifters.
Oh, that's a beautiful card. What is
Yes,
that?
this is Colette Baron Reed's Enchanted Map Oracle deck.
Oh,
And this says, Spirit orchestrates everyone's destiny.
that's from the Enchanted Map.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the Enchanted Map. That card's not in it.
52. This
Oh
one.
my God.
This one?
Oh, this is a new deck. Oh, this is a new publication. That's a new card added to the deck.
Oh, I don't know. But isn't that cool? We're all magical map. How they put it? Magical map shifters.
Maybe I'm confused. No, I thought it was the Enchanted Map is the other one. Huh.
She's got so many. She's got. I have to
Yeah,
see.
but
Hi,
this is
Gina.
the one that came out
Long. Yeah, this is way
long
back.
time.
Yeah. You
That
and
must
I
be.
were. You and I were on the phone, and I was looking through decks, and you said,
Yeah.
"Yeah, get this," so I did.
Yeah, but mine is different. I wonder. I'll have to compare. We'll have to compare afterwards.
And then I got change. Falling leaves do not signify the end, but the beginning of a fruitful season. That's another thing I wanted to say. This is, we can still harvest, we can still plant. Acorns are really good for this time of year, too.
Mm-hmm.
And then reconnect. Secrets lurk in the captive shadows deep within the woods. So we're going through, we're going through a nice, I feel it's getting nicer and lighter, and the vibration is beautiful.
Yeah, there was a shift today.
There's what?
There was a shift today.
Yeah, there was. And we'll be
And
back
it
on.
wasn't all solar flares.
But we will be back on the new full moon on the 29th, I think. Is that what, right, Diana? Next, yeah, next Friday on the 29th. I think, if that's correct. And we love seeing you here. And we
Yep.
love having you visit with us. And thank you for always being part of our energy. It's really cool. We love you.
Tribal dancers. Flames are glowing.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, fire. Huh. Fire. Burn some candles. Night, guys.
Okay.
Night.